The Trump administration admits farmers are not doing well under President Trump's tariffs, most especially soybean farmers. The, quote, collateral damage, as Politico puts it, in the president's trade war with China. Since May, China has not purchased a single U.S. soybean, not a one.
Trump's illegal tariffs have single-handedly destroyed the U.S. soybean market. Historically, 60% of Iowa soybeans have gone to China. With Trump's trade wars from his first administration, the U.S. has become an unreliable supplier. So instead of these soybeans going to China, it's soybeans from South America, like places like Brazil and Argentina.
Tell me about what's happening with your farm.
Well, we've got a real disaster with this tariff deal. Last year, we sent around $12 billion, I think $14 billion worth of soybeans the year before. For the first time in 20 years, China's bought zero soybeans and zero new crop corn out of this country.
Zero?
So we went from 12 billion to zero.
What's it doing politically? Are they still set on Trump and his leadership?
I've got buddies that say you have to trust him. I have buddies that just cannot do the left side of things, and that's where they're at. But now I went to the farm show in Decatur, and I met a lot of guys that farm up north that sings a lot different song than they sung 7 months ago or 8 months ago.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here. And you know, it's always the folks who scream the loudest about America first who end up stabbing Americans in the back first chance they get. And right now, Donald Trump, the self-proclaimed champion of the forgotten farmer, just pulled off a move that has soybean growers and corn producers absolutely furious.
We voted because he was going to help the farmers, and now it's just hurting us like crazy.
Agriculture is our foundation here in Nebraska and many states in the Midwest. If agriculture is failing here, everything is going to fail.
People here wondering if President Trump has forgotten past promises to look after them, even during trade wars.
Here's the deal. Trump is pushing a $20 billion bailout for Argentina to prop up their economy and keep their president afloat. Now, if you're wondering how that helps the farmers in Iowa, Nebraska, or Kansas who've been squeezed for years by bad trade wars, the answer is it doesn't. In fact, it makes things much worse. Because while U.S. farmers are drowning in debt, struggling with low commodity prices, and fighting to hold onto shrinking export markets, Trump is busy shoveling money overseas to a direct competitor.
You know, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition.
What do? You're a soybean farmer. Last time I talked to you, you said you believe you're going to break even. Are you still on track to break even?
I don't know. I've lost 10% of market share since we talked last. I've lost another $12 an acre for the difference in the market when we talked last to where I'm at today.
That was like a month ago.
Every day. Yeah. Lost another $12 an acre since then on 500 acres.
Argentina is already moving soybeans to China, the very market American farmers lost access to because of Trump's bluster. And this bailout makes them stronger. That's why farmers see this as such a brutal slap in the face. The man who promised to fight for them is literally funding their competition.
Everybody's scared to death. I got friends that are bankers that, will tell you the bank examiners is already telling them, look, you're going to have to deal with these guys because their equipment's not going to be worth as much. Their land's not going to be worth as much.
Here's where the rage really boils over, because this isn't just some abstract foreign policy decision. To the people Trump built his whole brand around, farmers, rural workers, the so-called forgotten man, this bailout feels like a straight-up betrayal.
Markets have gone away, input costs have gone up, and there's farmers in Montana, just like there are in Arkansas, that are wondering how they're going to stay in business. And bankers are looking at them going, can I afford to continue to loan these folks money? This is crazy. And to get bailed out by the CCC again is the last thing the farmers want. They want these markets to work. And these tariffs have destroyed the markets for farmers across the board. Family farmers.
One quick question to you about the president. He put out a message on Truth Social last hour saying that he's going to be meeting with President Xi of China and that he will discuss soybeans. Do you put much stock in that? Does that make you feel better?
Well, I mean, what good's it going to do to discuss soybeans at almost November? Because Senator Tester can correct me if I'm wrong here, but in November, the Brazilians will start cutting. They'll be in full swing by December. They don't need us.
And farmers who've already been hammered by Trump's tariffs on China are being told to just deal with it, while their biggest competitor gets a lifeline. That's not American first. That's Argentina first. And let's not kid ourselves about why this is happening. This isn't about some noble act of global stability. It's about politics. Argentina's president, Javier Milei, a far-right Trump cheerleader, was in trouble. His party was floundering ahead of the midterms. Markets were tanking, and suddenly Trump comes riding in with a gift bag of American tax dollars. That's cronyism. That's taxpayer money being used to prop up a political buddy abroad. Let me tell you what this really is. This isn't about helping farmers. This isn't about stabilizing anybody's damn economy. This is about Donald Trump taking your tax dollars and sending them to bail out his far-right buddy down in Argentina, Javier Milei. And who's clapping in the background? Elon Musk. Milei and Musk have been running around playing libertarian cosplay, chainsaws and free markets, while American farmers have been getting crushed. They're patting each other on the back at Tesla's factory, cooking up deals for Starlink, and Musk is licking his chops over Argentina's lithium mines. And then what happens? Trump comes riding in with your money to make sure Milei doesn't crash and burn. You think this is about you, the farmer in the Midwest? No. This is about protecting Musk's investments and Trump's little international bromance. Meanwhile, China gets cheaper soybeans, Argentina gets a bailout, and our farmers get screwed again. And here's the cold truth nobody wants to say out loud. A lot of these farmers pulled the lever for this guy. They cheered when he promised to stick it to China. They wore the damn hats and they swallowed every America First slogan he fed them. And now they're choking on it. Their markets are gone. Their prices are in the gutter. Programs that kept them afloat axed. And who's picking up the tab? The rest of us. Because every time Trump's policies blow up in their faces, they come back with their hands out. We want bailouts. Well, how many bailouts do you think the American people can afford? How long do you expect us to cover for a con man's broken promises? Farmers said they wanted markets, not handouts. But thanks to Trump, they've lost the markets and they're stuck begging for the handouts. That ain't strength. That's not independence. That's dependency. And it's all because they hitched their wagon to a grifter who never gave a damn about them in the first place. So here we are. The man they voted for is funding their competition, gutting their safety nets, and leaving them with nothing but debt and stress. And the irony is brutal. They wanted America first, but Trump left them dead last. And here's where it gets even uglier. This bailout isn't a one-off. It's part of a long, rotten pattern of betrayal when it comes to American agriculture. Trump's trade war with China, that was a disaster. Farmers lost their number one customer overnight when China slapped tariffs on soybeans, corn, pork, you name it. Billions in exports just evaporated. Trump turned around and bragged that China was paying the tariffs, which is bullshit. Farmers paid them. They ate the losses. Farmers don't want government welfare checks. They want markets, stable prices, and fair trade. Instead, Trump wrecked their markets and handed them nothing but scraps. And Trump gutted the very programs that kept farms alive. The shutdown of USAID, that killed $2 billion a year in guaranteed crop purchases for food aid. Other small farm programs, conservative initiatives, rural development grants, frozen or canceled. One North Carolina beekeeper said that he lost $150,000 a year when his program was axed. This isn't cutting waste. This is cutting people's throats. And while family farms are getting hammered, guess which vultures are circling? J.D. Vance and his venture capital buddies. They see bankrupt farms as bargain shopping. Buy them up for pennies on the dollar. Consolidate, flip, and profit. They're not neighbors. They're not farmers. They're Wall Street suits who see farmland the same way that they saw foreclosed homes after 2008. Just another asset to strip for cash. Think about what that actually means. Farms that have been in families for generations, 50, 100, even 150 years, gone. Sold off to hedge funds. The barns, the fields, the legacy, erased. replaced by corporate logos and absentee landlords. You can't pass that on to your kids. You can't hand down pride in the soil when the soil itself has been auctioned to the highest bidder. That's the end of the American dream for countless families. Rural communities hollowed out, heritage wiped out, the backbone of this country ripped out and handed over to billionaires who never milked a cow or baled a bale of hay in their lives. So let's stack it all up. Trump's trade war torched markets, his tariffs raised costs, his bailouts fell short, his cuts gutted lifelines, his bailout of Argentina props up competitors, and while all that's happening, J.D. Vance's crew is buying up the wreckage. That's not policy, that's pillaging. Trump doesn't give a damn about farmers. Vance doesn't give a damn about farmers. And farmers know it. They might not all admit it yet, but they feel it in their wallets, in their barns, in their fields. They know they've been sold out. Trump and Vance can wave their flags, chant their slogans, and play dress up at rallies all they want. But history's going to remember them as the con men who helped kill the American family farm. And that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.